city of Atlantis sank, and they were the perfect Aryan race, and they had superpowers, and we're trying to bring them back by joining forces with demons and Nazis. So it's like, God damn it! And I took it out, and I like sold it. So I never actually beat the game, but I just remember I'm like, this story is so weird.
Josh wasn't beaten by the game, he was beaten by the storyline.
It was so
That's
bad.
enough.
It was like, I can get past the bad, everything about it was terrible. And, yeah, it was pretty ridiculous. So, rent it.
Love it.
What?
And by the way, Blood Rain the movie is just about a vampire, and then she's in medieval times. So then he did a sequel, and the first one's bad enough. Then he did a sequel, and for whatever reason, they made it a western. I don't know why they did
Awesome.
that. Yeah. So
Because
you could
Red and
Westerns
Westerns
are
are
video
awesome. That's
game.
what they probably thought.
Right, westerns are pretty awesome. I think the thing is, it's a Uwe Boll movie, which bad movies.
Yeah, somebody just mentioned
Yeah,
that.
it's a bad movie. Like, he's a bad director, but his movies are so bad they're not even fun to watch. Like, The Happening is super fun to watch because it's so bad. But the Uwe Boll movies are just such a bore. You actually want to punch someone and they're that bad. Like somebody funded this. They could have put this into like some charity somewhere, and they gave it to this douchebag to make this piece of junk movie that no one likes. And
Right. I thought it was hilarious that they made a movie out of it.
Yeah.
Like, what?
yeah,
What?
pretty funny. And you went and saw it in the theater, right?
No, I've never seen Blood Rain.
Okay, but you saw.
I saw Silent Hill.
Silent Hill, which you said was atrocious, but you enjoyed it.
I don't know if it was atrocious. I can't honestly remember. But I'm sure I enjoyed it. And then Resident Evil was terrible.
Yeah,
But I still was like, me.
Yeah.
You know.
Because the game's so great, you could never match that, so.
Yeah.
The second one, I don't know much about the first one.
Most video game movies are not particularly good.
Maybe one day they'll have a resurgence like comic book movies, and like all of a sudden they'll make serious good video games.
It's true, very dark and
Yeah.
I think the problem is it's like all video games are like ideas taken from movies. Like you got, Max Payne, which I heard the movie was awful.
Yeah.
But like the game was just the most stereotypical cop drama you could ever think of. It was like, he was a good cop until they killed his family. Now he's gonna kill everyone. It's like, yeah, they did this.
And they did like bullet time, and it was like
Yeah.
right after the Matrix.
Which is
Yeah.
cool, though.
So
It
it
was
was like,
cool in a
now
game.
you can do that in a video game, and then let's put it into the movie.
What's
Yeah.
great about the video games, that's one of the last video games I actually played through.
Max Payne?
Yeah, and I got to a point where this always happens to me in almost every game, it seems, or that I just suck at video games. Is I reach a glitch where something has happened in the game where, like, for what happened to me in Max Payne was I ended up in an alley and there was nowhere to go. So something happened from my save or something, and I don't know if
I
it
think
wasn't like.
you probably didn't click on something.
No, because I walked everywhere for
The
3
hell?
hours of my life. I spent walking around in this alleyway, clicking every corner of the screen, doing everything, looking for, and there was
Did you look
nothing.
for a ladder? You
Yes,
probably
I
should
looked
have jumped
for
a ladder.
everything.
Did you look on the ground?
I looked everywhere. I'm telling you.
No, you probably didn't look on the ground. There's probably a manhole.
Josh would have beat it.
Yeah.
Josh could have gotten out of that alley.
I beat the first Max
Well, I'm not
Payne.
saying that the game was flawed, but I'm saying what happened to me. There was something didn't load properly when I from my save or something. I don't know if that's possible or not.
No, it's not.
Megazaya is asking, have we seen the trailer for the Dragon Ball Z movie?
No.
I've only seen screenshots.
I've seen it.
Does it look pretty terrible?
It's kind of like a U-Bowl movie where it's not terrible enough to make it look like, oh, I gotta see that because it looks retarded.
Yeah.
It's just like really plain. It's like they turned Dragon Ball Z into just like some average martial arts flick.
I don't know how you can make that into a live action movie.
I don't even know how they
know
made it into a
either.
show. Did you ever watch that show?
It was the greatest show ever.
Yeah, I was
It's
pretty
It was the best
literally-
show ever to go to sleep to because you'd like be dozing in and out
And
and
lost Mikey.
and
He
Goku's
got cut.
okay.
We can
But-
pick this.
You're dozing in and out, and then you wake up, and the guy is still charging his
Right,
fireball
exactly,
to
yeah,
shoot
yeah.
at the guy.
It's
and then
basically-
you forget a couple episodes, and then watch like a week later, and he finally has shot the
Right.
fireball at
It's
the
been,
guy.
they say 2 lines, and it's a whole episode of them cutting back and forth to a guy going for 20 minutes, and then they say another line of dialogue, basically. I'm gonna get you. and then they move on to the next one.
But,
Terrible.
but I do really enjoy it.
Because
I
it
do
was
too.
funny,
For some reason.
my foster brother at the time was 6, and he was like all into it to the point where like I actually drew pictures from it. Like I'm not even that much of an artist, but I can like, look at something and draw. And I drew it. He was all excited, and I watched the show finally. And I'm like, this is retarded. This is making my foster brother dumber. All I knew was he'd go for like 20 minutes.
I love that show. I was addicted because it was on Cartoon Network and they were playing every episode in like when I was in college, like in order. And I was
Yeah,
like,
that was when I was watching
like
them.
my roommate at the time made us get cable, and I was like, I didn't want to get cable because I didn't want to pay for it. And then we ended up getting it, and I started watching that. I was like, oh my god! And it started from the beginning, and I was just completely addicted. And I remember it got to like the last few episodes, and it's like, guess what? We're starting the whole series over. And I was like, what? And I was like, when the show takes that long just to progress, and you get to like the last last few episodes, and they started it over, which meant it was like a whole nother year before.
Yeah, there was like 180 episodes.
I was
or
so
something.
pissed. I mean, there was a kid at school that had all the original mangas, so like I borrowed those and I just read them instead of watching the cartoons. So I
That was
know what
actually
happened.
when I figured out how to like download television shows. That was when I really started doing it, was because it got to that point and I was like, what happens to Majin Buu?
Yeah.
And then I like it. And I had to like go online
He
and
turns
download
to
the
Evil
last.
Boo and not so Evil Boo.
And then he like slims down.
yeah, that's Evil Boo.
Yeah, Evil Boo, and then there's the fat Jolly Boo who you're like, he's a good guy.
He turns people to chocolate and fucking
Yeah.
eats them.
What?
It's good times, and they go inside of him.
We should do an episode where we just make Matt watch Dragon Ball Z, and he's like, this is terrible, terrible. What is that? This is you're retarded.
I
for
would
watching
probably be
it.
a podcast of many episodes.
Probably. That show would give me a seizure, man. That show is so out of control. I watched the Yu-Gi-Oh, which is amazing, and it's the same thing, but it's two guys talking about cards and their powers for the same time. The other show is guys yelling at each other.
I know.
What is happening?
Doesn't his voice change too when he takes
Yes.
that? Like he's like, all of a sudden it's deep, and I was like, I remember I was watching it with my sister. I'm like, what's happening?
No,
in
because
this
what
show?
happens is they use a different actor for his thoughts. This is what I could tell. I don't know what was going on. I thought I was like stoned all of a sudden. I woke up and all of a sudden I was high on LSD or something is what it felt like, because the show's so out of control. But his thoughts are like this dude who's like a growl, but then when he talks he's like a little kid. Just, you know, like that. So it's very confusing as to what the hell is going on.
Yeah, I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, I couldn't. And
He has awesome hair
nuts.
though.
Yeah, he does have pretty cool hair.
Yeah.
I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh! is pretty brilliant though for the fact that they play the card game in the show.
Right.
So they're like, Mom, bring me the target. I need those.
Right.
Yeah.
The biggest blatant marketing.
Yeah, it's like Pokemon, like it was once removed. It was like you got to catch them all with cards or the video game. It was
Right.
like
Yeah,
in this
is
show, it was just like
directly.
Digimon. Digimon was like Pokemon, but they were all in a video game or
Yeah,
whatever. So it was
yeah.
like you like you know.
Which Digimon had my favorite jingle of all time.
Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon are the champions. Yeah.
Yes, the greatest. Digimon are the champions. That's the greatest slogan for your show ever. Like you can't top that. They're already champions. Wow, that's better than any show I'm watching.
Yeah,
They're the
that's way
champions.
better than Pokemon. These guys are the
These guys are the
champions.
champions. You can't beat that.
Oh,
amazing.
they're correcting us that it's Digivolve into champions.
Digivolve into champions. Oh, is it? I thought
It might be.
Digimon.
That's still awesome. Once again,
Either way.
Once again, you probably have to buy things to
Never let that happen
Digivolve. I
again.
assume.
They become champions one way or another, whether
Right.
they are them
and you
or
can become
they
if you
Digivolve.
Digivolve with the series.
What do the megas digivolve into?
Look at us.
Silent.
Look what we've
An
become.
iPhone.
Yeah, if you had one object that you could transform into, Greg John, what would it be?
Like an inanimate object.
Yeah, like,
A fighter jet.
well, that's obvious. It's a transformer thing, but more like something practical throughout the day that you.
It has to be one piece.
A piece of wood. It has to be made of wood.
Square filter? I don't know what that means.
I can't figure out a way to turn off the swear filter.
You just have to type it in all caps.
Yeah, that's the only way.
We're
around it.
learning, like,
You just have to yell your swear.
we have
word.
extensive, we're gonna have a big debriefing session after this to discuss all the things that went wrong.
I won't be
Yeah,
able to
fix
fix
them.
we'll have a thread on the forums
Yeah.
too for like suggestions
Yeah.
and whatnot.
Oh, look, they figured it out.
I think part of the difficulty is we're doing this as a podcast, that we're like letting people watch.
Yeah.
But like they should be kind of separate things because it feels like the